The Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome RUNE to the podcast. RUNE's UNFD debut EP, Depth Perception, is out now. RUNE talks about using VST versus actual synthesizers, the transition from WHOISRUNE to RUNE, transitioning from electronic pop music to metal, the hopes for playing live, and much more. Depth Perception is a phenomenal EP, and I loved getting to chat with RUNE, and I'm excited to help share her music with all of you. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of As the Story Grows. If this is your first time checking out the podcast, welcome. You can find links in our show notes or at asthestorygrows.com for our Patreon page, our mailing list, and our Discord server. Enjoy today's conversation with RUNE.
Feeling every inch of your body, yeah. I know that you were tired and you're sorry. Taking excuses you're thrown at the floor. Turning my back face away from the door. I make excuses like it's novelty. Waiting me for an apology.
I know, I think Zoom you can use it for free, but like there's a time cutoff, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and like usually that time cutoff is not a problem, but when it is a problem, it's like
scary. Yeah, I can see that.
It's just like, oh, this conversation's going really well, and we're bumping up against my time limit. Well, fuck.
I know. I had that. I had like a consultation, and we hit the time limit. Ended up going really well. And we had hit the time limit 3 times, and we were just like, switch to FaceTime, I guess.
That's good times. Yeah. Awesome. Well, glad to have you on today. Are you up in Toronto proper?
Yeah, pretty close to the city. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand Toronto geography or layout at all. I've been there once, and
okay.
I don't know. That was many years ago now at this point.
What were you doing in Toronto?
We were just on vacation. We were not in Toronto. We had left Toronto, but we were in Canada when 9/11 happened in the United States.
Oh my God.
Which is like a bizarre experience because it's like we didn't know what happened. We're just on vacation having a great time. And then like it's like lunchtime and we're at a restaurant and people are like, "You're American?" It's like, "Yeah." And it's like, "Oh, you should turn on the news."
Oh my God, I can't even imagine what that would have been like to be like on the outside.
Yeah. And then it's
That's
like
crazy.
And then you're like, I think we'll be able to get back into it.
Can I go home? Yeah, right? Like
eventually.
Oh my God, were you guys able to get home okay?
Yeah.
Like how was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was fine. We had like another week or something in our trip, like through Canada. So
oh my God, that's crazy. Well, I hope you enjoyed Canada despite like the,
Yeah, it was great. So it's like it's one of those things where people have like dramatic stories, and I'm just like, I don't know. We were in Canada. We were on vacation. It was fun. Like,
that's good, I guess. At least you were, hanging out with us here in Canada. But I mean, it's also nice. It wasn't super cold at that time yet, so I mean, Today it's pretty chilly out there. So yeah.
I don't know, global warming, it's affected everything, but has it kind of affected the seasonal shifts from when you were younger in dramatic ways?
For sure. Like, I feel like literally it feels so different now. Like, winter does not feel the same. And we also, like, strangely, which feels wrong, but we got a really big snowfall. We actually got a snowfall before Sweden, which is kind of gnarly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been weird. Like, even last year, the snows don't feel the same. We used to get so much snow, so much. And I love snow. Like, that's the only part of winter I love here because the rest of it is very depressing because once we start salting the roads, I hate that we use road salt here. Some parts of Canada uses sand, which is much better. It's more environmentally friendly. But it just gets slushy and ugly. But when it snows, I'm happy. Yeah. But it's definitely not the same. I feel like it used to be colder and snowier. And now it's kind of just like, meh. Here we go.
Yeah. I feel like there's been a seasonal shift where it's like it'll be 80 degrees well into November, and then it's like, and then the temperatures drop off a cliff. There's no like nice fall weather. It's just like it's hot and then it's cold.
Yeah, like yesterday. It's also I don't know. Yeah, it feels weird. Like yesterday when I don't know Fahrenheit, but yesterday was 0 degrees Celsius when I was driving home last night, and it hasn't been that cold yet, which is kind of surprising.
Nice.
But yeah, what state are you in?
I'm in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah.
So you guys, I feel like similar temperatures a little, no?
I probably a little warmer, but I think it's
Probably a little warmer.
Yeah,
I would
a little
say,
bit.
but like definitely closer than some other states, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. What was growing up like for you?
Honestly, I am an only child.
Yeah.
And so, but I call myself sort of like introverted extrovert. So I really like hanging out with people, but then like I like having my own alone time, and a lot of that growing up for me was literally just playing World of Warcraft in my room. But
Okay.
yeah, sorry, the light is changing so much here. The sun is deciding to come out. Yeah.
Nice. What got you into music?
Well, honestly, I feel like music has always been a part of my life in one way or another. I didn't really feel like I chose to do it. I feel like it chose me.
Okay.
I always had like an interest in music ever since I was a kid. We had like bands and stuff when I was a child, and from there, like when my friends stopped being interested in it, I stayed interested, and I always just like started writing my own songs, and my parents got me my own guitar, and that's when I really started like actually writing music, because I was able to kind of like start learning how to play guitar. So I learned like a couple chords, I did a couple of lessons, and then taught myself, and just started writing my own music and drawing from like a lot of different genres for inspiration. Like I love pop music and I love electronic music, and even since I was a kid I loved like soundscapes and like composers using like nice vintage synths and stuff. Like that was always a real fascination of mine. I remember yeah, just like loving synths. My parents actually got me my first actual synth, which is crazy. They probably like, I don't know how much they spent. I was like, I don't know, 14 or younger. There's an old photo of me with it, but I got a micro Korg,
Okay.
which yeah, so I still have her. I don't use it, but I still have it. And anyway, I just really love synths, and from there on I just kept stepping further and further into making music, and I ended up using my first VST and was doing like a lot of weird dubstep inspired synthy stuff with like the factory sounds that came with Studio One. That was the first one that I used, was Studio One. And yeah, I just kept going from there, and I feel like I just kept strengthening my skills in it, and just like kept falling deeper in love with writing music. And it's just something that I never decided to do, but it has not escaped me. So it's just one of those things. It's a part of me.
Yeah. What do you have I don't know, preference for like sitting down with actual synths versus VST, or do you like the flexibility of everything in the computer and like changing on the fly and just like don't like that sound, don't like that sound, don't,
oh my God, the endless like find the correct snare. You're just like, how many different noises can I beat into my head? It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I would love to have, my goal is to have a synth room, but synths are like, it's a collectible, you know what I mean? Like that's some like, that's like, people like collecting Pokemon cards or whatever. Like collecting synths is like, you got to spend some money for that. So ideally I'd love to do like and do some modular synthesis. That would be really fun. But VSTs are awesome because I feel like you get some experience and knowledge in different synths, and you can kind of like get the feel and the vibe through trying different ones out. So I definitely love synths. I mean, I used the Arturia VST that has like a bunch of them. It's like I use the Arturia 5 or whatever, Analog Lab. I'm still on 5, but I used like the Yamaha CS80, and I remember like the image of it because in Arturia you can see the picture of each synth that you're using. And I had the privilege of going to a studio that is being built right now, a world-class studio, and I did a little tour, and they had a CS80 in the synth room, and I was like, oh my God, it's a CS80, which is crazy. Anyways, yes, I do love VSTs, but eventually when I can, I will build a crazy synth room, and I will lock myself in that room and never leave, for sure.
I mean, I used to have a small collection of synthesizers, which I love, but I'm shit at playing keyboards, right? Yeah. Just like, so VSTs allow me to like not suck.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it creates like, you can kind of do whatever with them. I mean, even with synths though, like you don't really have to play well. I mean, it would be nice to. It would be nice
right.
to, like, I can't really do a good chord. Like I'm not a very like ambidextrous piano synth player. Like I'm really not good at any of that, but you can just press a couple keys, and then if it's MIDI, you can draw some extra ones in. If
Right.
you need to. So it makes it more accessible, but it's definitely good to strengthen your skills in piano. I feel like people that can play piano well, like they are just elite. I need to get there.
Yeah, for sure. If you're making kind of electronic music, ambient, soundscapey stuff, pop, what type of like scene is there? Like, do you ever like have this vision of like, I'm going to try to take this music live when you're starting out? Or is it just like, this is just my bedroom project that I'm just trying to figure it all out right now?
Yeah, like when I started, my dream was, when I was younger, my dream was to perform and go on tour, but I didn't realize like how complicated it would be to get there.
Yeah.
So I sort of went into it with like a blind faith as a child. Like, I'm going to do it. It's like, you just have to like learn how to play music and then do it. And like, you can go on tour and it'll be so awesome. And when I made my first EP, the self-titled at the time, when I was still going by WHOISRUNE, that my goal was to tour with that stuff and like hopefully open for some artists and go on tour. And then the world shut down and I wasn't able to do any performing. So performing kind of came after that, because after that we did a lot of collabs through email with all of my collaborators that from the music that I previously released. And I've done a couple little shows in Toronto with my collaborators, but after that, I always knew like I wanted to actually do like a full show style, and that's what we're working up towards right now. And especially stepping into metal now, which I'm so excited to be in. I just feel like it's a different element performing electronic music on your own versus performing metal with a band. Like that's something so much more engaging for me and something that definitely helps me get over my fear because I'm terrified of performing in front of people. But I feel like when you have other people around you to play your energy off of, it just makes it much more engaging. So I'm really excited that that's like what we're working towards, and currently prepping the release show for the EP, which is going to be in the new year. But after that, the goals are definitely to start playing shows. That's what I'm really excited about, and terrified, but very excited.
Yeah. What was the kind of inspiration for the WHOISRUNE moniker when you started?
So funny. It's always was supposed to be Rune. And I made, at the time, I changed my name from what I was using prior and started going with Rune because I was like, I need something that feels like me. And I sort of sat with Rune and it felt very like personality-wise like my name. And so I was like, I need to make an Instagram, but Rune's obviously taken. So I'm just going to make it WHOISRUNE, whatever. And then when I went to start putting my music, the EP out on Spotify, I realized Rune was taken. And I was like, this is my first time using Rune and nobody's going to find me. I'm going to get like lost in the Spotify algorithm. And at the time, I was like, what do I do? Like, I had a mental breakdown. My partner was like, why don't you just use WHOISRUNE? Like, it's whatever. Like, Post Malone is a weird name and he's popular, so you should be fine. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. We'll do WHOISRUNE and then we'll title the EP WHOISRUNE and start from there. And but the goal was always to transition away from that. And once I started, like, I guess creating more of like a name or a place within the algorithm on Spotify, the goal was always to drop the first half and keep it just as Rune. And I felt like for this project, especially moving into a new genre and especially releasing with UNFD, I was like, there's no way there would be any other time better than this to like rebrand, but not in a full way. Like it's almost like shedding my old skin and coming into a new one. And I felt like this was the perfect time.
Yeah, you could drop that EP with the new genre. It's like, WHOISRUNE, I am motherfucker.
Literally, that's exactly it. I feel like that,
Yeah.
Feel it in the ways of your heartbeat. You're looking like your mind's getting cloudy.
You mentioned stepping into metal with this new EP. At what point did you decide or know, like, all right, I need to go in this heavier genre? And what was that process like?
was difficult, but I wanted to do it forever. I felt like even like I feel like even it's been like almost 4 years or something that I've wanted to get myself into this place. It just took a lot of time to put all the pieces together for it to make sense and feel authentic. That's something that I was really like, I really wanted to make sure that it felt authentic to me, because I love this genre, and I was like, I need to do right by it. It's like one of my favorite genres alongside, I mean, not according to my Spotify rap this year. I was definitely in pop girl heaven, but it's like I love so many bands in this genre, and I'm like, I need to do it in a way that's also authentic, because metal is a very authentic feeling genre if you play your cards right. I feel like it's one of the most authentic genres because of like the writing style and like the instrumentation. There's so much talent in this genre, and I was like, I need to make sure that everything feels right, because my old music was feeling it felt like a piece of me, but it didn't feel like me as a whole. And I knew I need to find my way into here, but it was hard. It was just like trying to find the right people to work with and the right collaborators and somebody that like honored my vision and what I wanted, but also was able to take me into the heavier realm, because I can't shred on guitar yet. I also can't write drums like a crazy maniac. So I needed help with that, and I ended up, after some trial and error, I ended up being recommended to work with Kyle, who produced the EP with me. It was just him and I, and we got Terrence on the drums as well, which is really awesome. But so it was just sort of like I ended up, doing a first session with him, and we worked on what I think is Fast Asleep, and ended up finishing that song, and it was like, this felt really right. And I also felt like it was a nerve-wracking experience being back in the studio, but I felt very comfortable with him, and he was like, he was one of the since my first EP was 6 years ago, like the last time I released anything that was like my own music, not collaborated with another musician, like, I didn't know what to expect, and it went really well, and I was like, I feel like this is the right moment where we're finally getting somewhere. And once we kept building the EP, I was like, this is feeling like me. Like, it felt, he was able to listen to my demo ideas and amplify them, as opposed to overshadowing me in a way, which it's a fine line, and I feel like I'm very represented in the project, and we worked together really well on this record. And I was just really happy to finally get somewhere, because it took me a really long time, and I started to be afraid that maybe I would never be able to get here. So my next steps are learning how to scream. That is on my list. I'm trying. So for the next stuff, that is the goal, is to scream on my own music. It's
fascinating. You're not the first artist I've talked to this year, like female artist, who has kind of stepped out of the electronic pop world into metal. This year is kind of like the ultimate vision for like what they want to do musically. So it's fascinating. Do you think there's something, I don't know, in the female experience, or just like trying to figure it out, where it's just like you feel pigeonholed or in a certain direction, and you're just like, this is not actually what I want to be over here?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting actually seeing that, because I feel like maybe what it is that women are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable and a bit more like represented in metal, and we're able to see ourselves in it, because of like amazing bands that are like Spearbox is one of my favorite bands ever, as it is for many, and Courtney is a huge inspiration for a lot of women to be confident, but also to be authentic to themselves, because I think sometimes there's certain ways that women can approach metal, and I feel like the way that they do it feels very much like an art form, and I really appreciate that. So I feel like seeing that representation, and feeling comfortable and like, welcomed in the community in that sense, like it was different, especially like from all the interviews I've seen with Courtney talking. It was different for her when she started in metal versus where we are at now, and I think that change is definitely helping amplify women's voices, and for us to be like, actually, I do see a future in this genre for myself. And I think that for me too, like, I think it was more, I wasn't thinking so much in that realm. Maybe that, I think that is like a social byproduct of where we're at, is what's making me feel more comfortable, like without me knowing. But I think like ultimately I've always wanted to migrate into the genre, just because of how much room there is to try different things. Like, I feel like you feel less constrained within metal as maybe you would with electronic music. At least that's how I felt, because you can kind of get a lot of different, like, you can be very emotional, you can still be very like synthy, but you can be like, there's a lot of different ways you can approach metal, and I feel like I was just starting to feel a little limited by just electronic music, and especially the live experience of it as well. And I knew I wanted to learn how to scream. It was just something that it would probably be a little bit more difficult to me, especially being a singer my whole life. I feel like my brain works a little bit differently, so I'm trying to like work through that. But yeah, I think right now is a good time. I feel like women are just feeling a bit more comfortable and welcomed into the scene. So thankfully,
and there's probably an element of like growing up too, and kind of having a better grasp on what you actually want, and just like
for sure,
know what you're going for.
Yeah, I think so too. And like all of my collaborations that I did, I love all the songs. Like I'm the sole songwriter on all the songs that I've collabed on, and that's like, songwriting is one of the most important parts for me with making music. And so I feel like all of those collaborations helped build me into where I am now. And it's helping me transition into the genre more comfortably, and also like, you just get more experience working with different things, and being able to try new stuff and realizing what works and what feels right and what doesn't. And I would still love to continue making electronic music and like collaborating with the right people, but definitely feel more at home in this genre. So
nice. How'd you get connected with UNFD?
That was an interesting story, actually. So I covered a lot of metal songs on YouTube, and ended up covering a song from one of the bands that's on their roster, and they, I guess, saw it, and like the band saw it when I put it out. It was years ago, and then their label at the time saw it, and then a lot of time went by, and I see them every time they come to Toronto. So this time they came to Toronto, and I was like, you know what? I saw one of the band members standing outside, and I was like, let's just like go chat, because I mean, at this time I was also working on new music and stuff like that. So. And I'm still putting out covers of metal, because I've always loved like interpreting it in my own way. If you go through my YouTube, there's loads of metal covers. And so, I went up to them and we started chatting, and they ended up recognizing me from that cover that I did years ago. And we sort of connected from there, and I told them that I was working on a new record, and it was like very metal leaning, and I was interested to get their opinion on it. And they were like, oh, cool, this is kind of awesome. And they ended up setting me up with a meeting with the wonderful people over at UNFD. And kind of just went from there. It just ended up working out. We sent them like all the songs that I had finished, and at that time I think we were still wrapping one song up, or we were just doing the final mixes and stuff like that, and that's sort of how it happened. So it was just like very organic, just for me supporting bands within the genre, but also like doing my own interpretation of their music. I think that sort of helped get me where I'm at now, and also adds to all the experience, and the way that I sort of approach songwriting is also directly from covering those songs. And
the silence is deafening, your visions in better red, the nihilists watch me every night. I'm polarized, take away all the pieces now. It takes a sacrifice to let it all unfold. Borders open.
EP is called Depth Perception. That's the closing track. What led to that title, and what kind of things were inspiring you as you were writing this album?
Yeah, like this record is very close to me. I was dealing with a lot of grief at the time, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I was doing what I know best, which is writing songs. And a lot of those songs came from that place. And Depth Perception, especially, that track was probably, I mean, all the songs have a bit of a double meaning. I feel like when I write music, I write in a way that you're able to sort of interpret it in any way that feels fit for you. And so when I wrote this record, I was in a couple different places, but grief and dealing with that was one of them. And I feel like that's such a human experience. We all deal with it in one way, shape, or form. And this was my very first time dealing with it. And it was definitely hard, and it's still something. I think it's a lifelong experience. And so Depth Perception, I wanted to title the record that because I felt like it was like the most encompassing of everything on the record, but that final track was definitely, it's the one that makes me cry, the only song on the record that makes me cry. So definitely very close to me, and all those lyrics feel very close to me. So yeah, it just felt right to name the EP after it.
Nice. The EP's been out about 2 weeks at this point. It's tough in the music industry now. Basically everybody's a small fish in the world's biggest pond.
Yes.
But how have you found the reception and kind of finding a new audience been so far?
I mean, it's been awesome. It was nerve-wracking for me to put it out, as usual. I feel like right before any artist releases music, I feel like for a second you're like, oh God, it's happening. So I definitely was a little scared, but it turned out really well. Like I feel like it's, I'm a smaller artist, and I'm working my way into a new genre. So that's another thing I had to also come to terms with, is that like people that have listened to my music on Spotify, they're going to get this EP on their like release radar, and they're going to listen to it. And some of them are going to be like, what the fuck is happening? I don't understand. So I kind of had to come to terms with that concept, and that's fine for me, because ultimately, like, I think a lot of people actually have had really good reception from people that have been around for a really long time. I've gotten some really wonderful messages from people that have been with me since I was literally doing YouTube covers of metal songs, and now I'm releasing stuff in the genre, and they're like, so stoked for me, and they love the EP. So things like that, it's like really heartwarming for me to read those messages. And it's hard. Everybody has access to release music, and the internet has fundamentally changed how we put music out as well, with having to produce content endlessly to try to grow your audience. And being a musician, I'm not very content minded. That's not for me, but trying to adapt and do what I can to post about it. But otherwise, like, I'm really excited that I've had really good reception, except for a couple people that didn't really understand Erode. A lot of people were a little confused about that song, which is funny. But otherwise, the reception has been so awesome, and I'm just really excited to keep going.
Yeah. If you listen to the older EPs or the other stuff, you're just like, all right, this is a bit heavier, but like, all right, it's still you. And then, when Mike's vocals come on in Erode, it's like, what's happening? All right, and if you're not down with that, you're like, the fuck is this?
Literally, it's so true. And it's funny because my Spotify algorithm is so like freaked out right now. It's like, what do we do? What, like, my RUNE radio, it's like a lot of electronic music producers, and I'm excited for it to shift over to the metal stuff when I keep putting more stuff out. But it's funny seeing like all of my songs, and it's just like the EP, and then everything else is like so different. But I mean, they're all one and the same. It's just a different manifestation. But Mike's vocals are definitely that one's a surprise for some people.
I'm sure there are longtime Poppy fans who, when Poppy went metal, they were like, what is happening here? So,
that's true. And she was very much more pop than I was, for sure. So
yeah, absolutely. You mentioned you're trying to put together this live band for shows next year. What's kind of the plan as you look ahead to 2026 and the future of RUNE?
Yeah, I mean, shows, that's like where my heart and soul is. I'd love to get there and just finally play the stuff live. I want to dance with everybody. I mean, Sacred is a really fun song on the EP, and I'm really excited to make everybody do the dance that I do in the music video. Because people, I sort of stole the Macarena, and so we are calling it the Macaruna, and I want to make everybody do it live with me. So I'm really excited for that, forcing people to dance with me. But otherwise, shows, like, we are currently, there's a lot going on behind the scenes at the RUNE HQ. We're doing a live off the floor that I'm really excited about in a couple weeks, 2 weeks actually, not a couple, very soon, next week actually. And so that's going to be really fun, because I'll be able to sort of give people an idea of like the live experience, and it'll be up on YouTube. And from there, just planning the release show. We kind of like, it's an interesting time to release music in November because the holidays are coming. So it was a bit of an interesting time, and it wasn't it's not an ideal time, but I definitely wanted the songs out, so that's why we're doing the release show in the new year. But we are planning on actually working on a new single. I'm back in the studio in a couple days.
Nice.
And so we're going to be starting a new single, which I'm going to be putting out before the release show and playing at the release show as well.
Dope.
So I'm really excited for that too.
Nice. I know everybody starts dropping their like best of the year releases like December 1st, and I'm like, I always try to wait as long as possible because somebody's going to drop a banger in the month of December, and you're just like, it's got to be on the list, right? And so like your EP comes in, I'm like, that's on the EP list. Like that's on my favorite list. Like, it works.
It wasn't actually supposed to come out in November, but I'm glad it did. We were going to do like a different sort of release plan, but ended up pushing some stuff to make some more room for like music videos and everything else. There was just a lot on the, when you release music, there's like a huge checklist at this point. But yeah, it's also really exciting because I feel like it'll be nice to bring people back once the single comes out and bring everybody back into the record after they've been able to sit with it. And also being able to like play it for people once they've had time to listen to the songs was really important for me. Because I wanted to have that experience of people like enjoying it with me live as opposed to like listening to it 3 times and then seeing me play it live, you know? Like I wanted people to live with it a little bit longer.